Welcome back to TokiCast, my friend. Come closer and let me show you the most ordinary magical object in your entire home. Right now, somewhere near you, there is a mirror. On a wall, in a bag, on the glass of the phone in your hand. You have looked into one countless times today without a single thought. You glance, you check your hair, you move on. It is the most boring object imaginable. But here is the strange, true thing for almost all of human history. No person could ever clearly see their own face. Think about that. For hundreds of thousands of years, human beings lived and died, laughed and wept, grew old, and never once looked upon themselves as you casually did this morning. The clear mirror is a very recent kind of magic, and when it finally arrived, it did something profound to the human soul. It changed how we see ourselves, quite literally. It drove kings to bankrupt their treasuries, sparked industrial secrets worth killing for, and quietly reshaped the human mind itself. Take a slow breath, and let me show you the strange history of the mirror, a time when the only way to see your face was in still, dark water. A palace room so covered in mirrors it nearly ruined a kingdom to build. A secret so valuable that a city imprisoned its own craftsmen to protect it. A discovery that made this precious luxury suddenly cheap enough for the whole world. And a simple sheet of glass that quietly transformed how every human being thinks about who they are. Almost nobody wonders where the mirror came from. Stay with me, and you will never glance at your reflection the same way again. If this gives you a little wonder and a little understanding, leave a like and subscribe. It means everything to us here at TokiCast. Let us begin at the very beginning, in a world with no mirrors at all. Imagine, my friend, that you have never seen your own face. Not once. You know the faces of everyone around you, your mother, your friends, your children, better than anything in the world. But your own? It is a mystery. The only way an ancient human could catch a glimpse of themselves was to lean over a pool of still water or a puddle after the rain and look down, and even then, the image was dark, rippling, uncertain, breaking apart at the smallest breath of wind. For most of human existence, this was the closest anyone ever came to meeting their own eyes. There is an old Greek myth that captures this strange power of a reflection. It tells of a beautiful young man named Narcissus, who leaned over a still pool of water and, for the first time, saw his own reflection. He did not know it was himself. He only saw a face of impossible beauty gazing back at him, and he fell hopelessly, tragically in love with it. He could not eat, could not sleep, could not tear himself away from the beautiful stranger in the water who vanished every time he reached out to touch him. He wasted away there, by the pool, in love with his own reflection. It is only a myth, but what a warning it whispers across the centuries about the strange and dangerous pull of seeing our own face. From this ancient story, we still get the word we use today for someone lost in self-love. Slowly, over thousands of years, humans learned to make the first true mirrors, but they were nothing like yours. The earliest were made of polished stone, then of polished metal bronze, copper, silver, and gold. Skilled workers would rub and buff a disc of metal for hours until it shone enough to throw back a dim, golden, blurry image. Can you imagine only ever seeing yourself as a shadowy golden smear? These metal mirrors were treasured, but they were expensive, they were heavy, they tarnished and darkened over time, and the image they gave was faint and unclear. For thousands of years, this was the best that even the richest emperors and queens could do. A clear, true, silver reflection was still a dream. Let us pause and marvel at just how ancient this longing to see ourselves truly is. The very oldest mirrors ever found are astonishing. In the lands of what is now Turkey, archaeologists discovered mirrors made from a black volcanic glass called obsidian, polished by human hands around 8,000 years ago. 8,000 years. Picture some unknown person, all those thousands of years ago, patiently rubbing a piece of black volcanic stone smooth, just for a chance to glimpse their own dark reflection. In ancient Egypt, mirrors of polished bronze and copper were so treasured they were often shaped like the sun and buried with the dead, to travel with them into the afterlife. In ancient China, bronze mirrors were believed to hold special powers, able to protect their owner and even to reveal hidden truths and frighten away evil spirits. Across every corner of the ancient world, in cultures that had never met, the same deep human wish appeared again and again, the wish to look upon one's own face. It is one of the oldest longings we have, and because the mirror seemed so magical, humans wrapped it in a thick cloak of superstition and fear that lingers even today. Have you ever heard that breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck? That belief is very old. Long ago, many people believed that a mirror did not simply show your reflection, it somehow held a piece of your very soul. To shatter a mirror, then, was to damage the soul itself, and it was thought to take 7 long years for that soul to heal and renew. In many cultures, when someone died, the family would rush to cover every mirror in the house with cloth. Some feared the dead person's spirit could become trapped inside the glass, or that the mirror might steal the soul of a grieving, vulnerable mourner who looked into it. And the old tales of creatures that cast no reflection like vampires grew from this same deep belief that a mirror reveals the hidden truth of the soul, and that a being with no soul would show nothing at all. Think of it, my friend, an ordinary piece of glass, so wrapped in fear and wonder that we still feel a small shiver when one shatters. And then came the breakthrough that changed everything, and it happened, above all, in one remarkable place, the islands of Venice, in Italy. Venetian craftsmen learned to do something extraordinary. They took a sheet of clear, flat glass, and they coated the back of it with a thin, gleaming layer of metal, a mixture of tin and mercury. And suddenly, for the first time in human history, a mirror could show a bright, clear, sharp, and true reflection. When people first gazed into these new Venetian mirrors, they were astonished. They could really see themselves perhaps for the very first time in their lives. The color of their own eyes, the exact shape of their smile, the lines on their own skin. It must have felt like a kind of sorcery. And here is where the story turns secret and dark, because Venice understood exactly what it had. This clear mirror was one of the most desired luxuries in the world, and the technique to make it was worth a fortune. So Venice guarded its secret with astonishing ruthlessness. They gathered their master mirror makers onto a single island, and there they were given wealth and comfort, but they were also, in effect, prisoners. The craftsmen were forbidden from leaving the country and taking the precious secret with them, and it is said that if a mirror maker tried to escape to sell the secret abroad, the state might hunt him down for the crime of betraying this priceless knowledge. Can you imagine a city guarding the secret of the mirror the way a nation today might guard a weapon imprisoning its own artists to keep the reflection for itself? For a time, the plan worked, and Venice grew fabulously rich. These mirrors became the ultimate symbol of wealth and power across Europe. Only the richest of the rich could afford one. A fine Venetian mirror could cost more than a great painting by a master artist, more, sometimes, than a small ship. To own a clear reflection of your own face was, quite simply, one of the greatest luxuries on earth. And nowhere was this hunger for mirrors more spectacular or more reckless than at the court of a French king. He wanted, for his grand palace, something no one had ever seen: an entire hall lined with hundreds of great mirrors, a room that glittered and reflected light like nothing in the world. This became the famous Hall of Mirrors. But the mirrors were Venetian, and they cost a staggering, almost unimaginable fortune. And so, the French did something bold. Rather than keep paying Venice's impossible prices forever, they set out to steal the secret. According to the famous story, French agents secretly lured several Venetian mirror makers away from their guarded island, smuggling them into France to reveal how the magic was done. Venice, it is said, was furious, and the tale even tells of danger following those craftsmen who dared to betray the secret. But the secret was out, and with it, the long monopoly of Venice over the human reflection began, at last, to crack. Now the mirror was still a treasure, but the door had opened, and what finally brought the mirror to you, to every ordinary home on Earth, was the coming of science and the age of machines. In time, a clever chemist discovered a new and better way to coat glass using real silver, applied through a chemical process, instead of the dangerous old mixture of mercury. This new method made mirrors clearer, safer, and far, far cheaper to produce. And as great factories rose in the age of industry, mirrors could suddenly be made by the thousands, then the millions. And so the impossible happened. The luxury that had bankrupted kings, the secret that Venice had imprisoned its artists to protect, the treasure, worth more than a ship, became something almost free. A mirror now hung in the poorest home. Ordinary working people, for the first time in all of history, could look at their own faces clearly, every single day, whenever they wished. The private magic of emperors had become the everyday right of everyone. But here is something few people ever realize. The humble mirror did not just change how we see ourselves. It helped us see the entire universe. When scientists learned to shape mirrors with great precision, they discovered they could use them to bend and gather light. And this unlocked one of the greatest tools in all of science, the telescope. Great telescopes, then and now, use carefully curved mirrors to collect the faint light of distant stars and galaxies, gathering it and focusing it so that human eyes can see worlds unimaginably far away. The same principle that lets you check your reflection also lets us peer billions of miles into space and back billions of years into time. Mirrors sit at the heart of the largest telescopes ever built, including those we launch beyond our own planet. Is it not wonderful? The very same magic that first let a human being see their own face went on to let humanity gaze upon the birth of stars. From the smallest, most personal reflection to the vast reflection of the cosmos itself, all from a polished, shining surface. And there is one last strange and beautiful secret the mirror reveals about the mind itself. Scientists who study animals use what they call the mirror test. They place a mirror before an animal to see whether it understands that the reflection is itself and not another creature. Most animals never grasp it. A bird may attack its own reflection. A pet may look behind the glass for the stranger. But a rare few, the great apes, dolphins, elephants, and a handful of others, do come to understand. They realize, in a flash of recognition, that is me. And human children, too, only pass this test at around 1.5 or 2 years old. Before that, a baby does not know the face in the glass is their own. Think about what that means, my friend. The simple act you performed this morning without a thought recognizing yourself in the mirror is one of the rarest and most remarkable abilities in the entire animal kingdom. That flash of "I am me," looking back at you from the glass, is one of the deepest mysteries of what it means to be aware, to be a self, to be human at all. The arrival of the clear mirror quietly changed art itself too. For the first time, painters could set up a good mirror and truly study their own faces, and so the self-portrait, The painting of an artist by their own hand blossomed as never before. Some of the most famous and haunting paintings in history are artists gazing into a mirror and painting exactly what they saw, flaws and all. Great masters also used mirrors as secret tools to check the balance of their work, or even, some believe, to help them capture light and reflection with breathtaking accuracy. There was even a special dark, slightly curved mirror that landscape artists once carried into the countryside. They would turn their backs on a beautiful view, hold up this little mirror, and paint the softened, glowing reflection it gave them instead of the real scene. Imagine that painting the world by looking backward into a piece of dark glass. The mirror did not only show us ourselves, it taught our greatest artists new ways to see everything. So let us look back, my friend, at the strange and gleaming journey we have taken together. We started with the ordinary mirror near you right now, and a startling truth that for almost all of history, no human could clearly see their own face. We leaned with our ancestors over dark, rippling water. We met a young man who fell in love with his own reflection. We saw the first dim mirrors of polished metal, and then the astonishing clear glass of Venice, guarded like a deadly weapon. We watched a king build a glittering hall that helped drain his treasury, and spies steal a secret worth a fortune. And finally, we watched science take that priceless magic and place it, at last, into the hands of every person alive. And here is the quiet part, the part that is really about you. The mirror gave humanity a strange and powerful gift, and like all powerful gifts, it carries two edges. Before mirrors, people barely thought about their own appearance, because they could barely see it. After mirrors, we became, for the first time, deeply aware of our own faces, and so began a new relationship with ourselves, one of both self-knowledge and self-doubt. That little glass on your wall can show you your smile on a good day, and every flaw you fear on a bad one. And today, my friend, we carry mirrors everywhere, in the glass of our phones, and we look at our own faces more than any humans who have ever lived. So perhaps the mirror leaves us with a gentle question. When you look into it, what do you choose to see? Do you see only the flaws it so honestly shows, or do you remember that the face looking back has laughed and loved and survived every single day of your life so far? The mirror can only show you the surface. What you are truly worth was never something a piece of silvered glass could ever reflect. Now tell me which part surprised you the most. That for most of history no one could see their own face, that Venice imprisoned its mirror makers, or that mirrors were once worth more than a ship? Write it in the comments below. I truly love hearing which part stayed with you. And before you go, let me leave you with a small riddle for our next story. Picture a color one so common you see it above you in the sky and below you in the sea. And yet, strange as it sounds, for most of human history, people could barely name it at all, and some of the oldest stories in the world never once mention it. What could this color be? Come back soon, and we will find out together. Until then, take care of yourself, my friend. This has been TokiCast, where the small things quietly change the world. I'll see you soon.